You should have seen him. It was like he was wearing his bag. And the chief just walked in. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm just great.
Good.
You know,
I was out yesterday. I was a little sick yesterday. But
were you?
Yeah. I don't know what the deal was.
Were you nervous?
Nah. Just
man,
must have eaten something.
If I get a headache now and a fever and I
get nervous?
Oh yeah, because I've been to Dallas.
Oh gosh, come on!
I've been to Dallas on a fast train, honey. No, and I'm worried because you don't know.
See, you've been to Dallas, and now I'm here with you.
Yeah.
When did you go to Dallas?
Now I'm worried.
I went
recently
to the ball game.
Oh yes.
Are you worried?
There were people from all over Dallas.
Oh yes.
I think there were more people from Houston though than there were in the deal. But you know, we've talked about what an interesting job the police department is, and I'm not doing a recruiting thing here by any means.
We got vector control too. I just heard you talking about vectors.
Yeah. Oh, you have to.
That's mine
to do
too.
that?
Yeah, I get to spray.
Animal control.
Vector control. You have to go out and spray for mosquitoes.
Yeah, I'm quickly becoming a bug expert.
We lived in one of those GI housing projects.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with those? Yeah. You don't have to pay a lot, but there's not a lot of trees. It's just
you don't pay a lot and you don't get a lot.
Yeah, kind of like that. But you know, there's a lot of kids, so it's good.
Yeah.
But they used to come around in this Jeep, and it would fog it.
Yes.
And we would run behind that Jeep for blocks and blocks.
Getting fogged?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And that was back when they were using DDT, which may account for the reason my nose is so big. I don't know. But we've talked about the interesting. By the way, I had occasion to talk about you the other day. There was an opportunity for press coverage, and you had brought up several weeks in a row the fact that Congressman Farenthold had done a ride-along.
Correct.
Wanted to familiarize himself and meet some of the officers because he went through the Citizens Police Academy, and he had it had been a while since he'd been on a ride-along. And you brought it up without me asking you. And you said you were impressed by it. It was very nice of him to do that because it brought attention to the police force.
Yes.
It also brought attention to the fact that, well, maybe it will heighten awareness among citizens that, you know, you can do this too. If you would like to see what your officers go through every day and how they're treated by some of your fellow citizens. And there was an opportunity for a news crew to do that. And I thought, you know, that would make a good news story because it heightens the awareness, not only of what the police go through, but of that program, the Ride-Along, and the Citizens Police Academy.
Yes. And we, like you mentioned, we are grateful that he did that because it does bring attention to our department, but we're also aware of his safety concerns. I mean, he's a congressman. In our view, that's pretty important, and his safety was very important to us. So we didn't want to advertise, you know, for that very reason. But I think
it could have been after the fact.
Yeah, but you kind of alluded to it on my drive over. I was listening to the calls for service. You know, this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we're certainly in tune with that. But virtually every call that our guys go to, alcohol is prominent. Whether it's a family disturbance, whether it's a party, whether it's whatever call, at the center is drugs and alcohol. And, you know, Blake Farenthold brought that up, and he's absolutely right. Every call that he went to that night, alcohol was at the center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a really good opportunity. So you and I were about a year ahead of the curve on this domestic violence.
Yes, absolutely.
That has been a concern of mine for a long time, since my first ride-along when I went through the Citizens Police Academy, to every domestic disturbance. And if you do a ride-along, count on it.
You'll see it. Yeah, and we just had 2 murders. Was that last week, involving domestic violence. One was a murder-suicide out in Kings Crossing, and then the other, where living boyfriend or common law husband, however you want to term it, virtually beat the lady to death, and all centered around domestic violence. And
we have done this about the same way we've done drunk driving.
Yes,
we have sort of, well, okay, but let's not punish them too much. I might. It might happen to me one time, and then I don't want to be in a stocks and pillory and people throwing overripe fruit. Yeah. But until there is a humiliation process, a life-changing event, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You got to stop. You just got to stop. You can't drink and drive, and you cannot beat on your wife or your children. You can't be an abuser. You just can't.
Yeah, and you certainly can't drink and drive and drag race, or drink and drive and
have
take
your child in your
so people need to know, if you've got a child in the car and that child is below age 15, that's going to be a felony for you, regardless of whether or not it's your first time or
he was they were racing.
Yeah,
he's 23, 26, somewhere in there.
Yeah, young person. But great segue, tonight's National Night Out.
Yes.
People want to, we've got, I guess, 50 or so parties that people are going to be having around the city. I'm going to be out and about, stopping by many of them. My staff will be out and about. We'll have static displays, and we're going to come hungry, so feed the cops your hamburgers and Cokes and all that stuff. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I saw the God, I know his name and I can't remember. He was at the dove hunt. The PALs, the PPL and
was it this one Saturday?
Valero, this past weekend.
Yes. I'm sorry, Lillian. I should have let you do that.
No. I was just waiting to hear what you were going to say. Who was there?
Everybody
was there.
It was, yeah. Everybody was there.
It's a great event.
We had several hundred people, and we raised
150,000, about 50,000 more than last year.
Yeah. What we do last year?
Actually, I think last year was 101. I know if Patsy's listening, she's going to say you should know these numbers, but
it was a lot.
It was a lot. So this time we went far exceeded. I think the goal was 120,000, and we raised $150,000 for the Corpus Christi Police Athletic League. And the chief got to jump in the pool.
Yeah, it was huge. I did.
The other part of that's really good, that I would have given anything to be able to have been mic'd, and the young people that were there, talk to them about the experience of seeing that place for the first time.
Let's Lynn Ranch.
Yeah.
Y'all, man. Yeah.
Because they are, when they get out of the vehicles that they have come, they're in awe.
Yeah.
And then they try to get all cool about it. It's not.
I thought you were looking at me.
I do this all the time.
Yeah. I was in awe when I saw it.
No. We talked about that.
Mrs. Berry has such an incredible place.
Yes.
She really does.
I know. You can almost see Gus and Captain Call riding up. Can't you? I can.
You almost can. You're right. It's a beautiful backdrop for, and that's what I said. It was a beautiful backdrop for a great day of dove hunting and a chance to raise some money for a great cause. And so, again, $151,000 was raised. And it's really, thanks to all the sponsors. The list is long.
Sure.
But,
if you give it to me,
Barry,
I'll read it.
I'll have to send it to you. Mrs.
Right.
Barry, David Ainsworth. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Believers.
Yes.
Supporters.
Yeah.
Big-time supporters. And I do have to tell the chief, actually the cadets were there too, helping, and so it was a great opportunity for them to see firsthand.
Well, those guys elbowing each other and going, God almighty, did you see this play? Believe that. All right, let me get to this. Luna, good morning. Welcome to Lago in the Morning.
Hello. I have just a quick question for Lillian. This is Susie Luna. I'm interested in knowing how many council people were on the trip to Arlington.
You want me to tell you? I went.
Yeah, I know you were in there.
Okay. It was Kelly Allen, Mark Scott, Colleen McIntyre, and Lillian Riojas.
And my question to the councilwoman, is that a subcommittee?
No.
It's not considered a subcommittee of 4. Or is it a quorum because Ms. Leal is no longer available?
No, it's not a quorum, Susie. Miss Leal is on a leave of absence, and so, no.
I thought they got a legal opinion about that.
Oh, well, I would be interested in it because I was just very curious to find out, since in CCISD the same thing came up. And there was a big to-do about board members going off on a trip that entailed a business partner for the district.
Well, they weren't spending their own money, were they? They were.
Yeah, Susie, just so you know, I cover the cost of my trip. And so you can talk to the gentleman that invited me. And so that's where I stand on it, and I think some of the other council members as well. So we did go on the trip, but we provided payment for our own way.
Oh, no, that was never my question. Whoever paid for the trip was never my question. My question was there a quorum available, or was that a violation of the Open Meetings Act?
I think the best thing to do would just call city legal. But no, I don't think it was, because there was a legal opinion about it.
Okay, I will follow up. Thank you, Lago, for letting me ask a question.
All right, bye. It's Lago in the Morning. News Radio 1360 KKTX. Chief Floyd Simpson in the box. The number is 560-5589, 560-KKTX. I noticed where SMG sent out a press release, and Corpus Christi Bike Fest is back the 10th through the 12th.
Yeah.
3 days of events.
And I'll be a prominent figure at that.
You will?
Yeah, because I think the first go-round, when it was really enjoyable, I made a suggestion to the organizers on the, I guess it's the symbolic ride.
Mm-hmm.
You know, last year we started over at the college, and we just rode down Shoreline to the ABC.
Mm-hmm.
This year we're going to start out at Packery Channel and kind of make it a little longer ride. So we'll go over the bridge there or the causeway, and then I think hang a right on Nile and head down to ABC from that way. So a little bit
Nile
longer.
or Ennis Jocelyn?
If
you go Nile, it's
doesn't go through.
That goes right through a neighborhood.
Okay, then Ennis Jocelyn. Sorry. So we'll go. Yeah, we won't do that. We'll go to Ennis Jocelyn. I'm sorry, and then down to Ocean Drive or Shoreline, and head into the ABC. So a little longer ride. I think guys that came from out of town, they thought that ride should be a little longer. So we'll try that.
So the 10th, 11th, and 12th. Last year, 15,000.
Yes. Well, yeah, and we're expecting more this year.
And there were some
pretty
darn fancy bikes.
Very nice bikes. Kind of shame my bike, but very nice bikes.
Some of those things look like they cost more than my truck.
Some of those things cost $40,000.
Yeah,
sure.
So I'm thinking, you really have a lot of confidence in yourself or a lot of confidence in the people around you not to run into you? Because I know from experience, most people who drive cars or trucks,
they don't see.
Motorcycles are invisible.
Yes, they're looking for another car, if they're looking at all, and they'll look right at you and don't see you.
So they're going to have concerts, stunt shows. There's going to be food, parades, games, all at the. It's going to be indoors, though. Well, no, with Concrete Street too.
Yeah, Concrete Street, ABC. I think they're maybe doing some stuff over the Harley shop. At least they did some stuff last year. Yeah. But we'll have several hotel beds filled, which is a good thing for the city, you know.
So, according to the press release, 15,000 attendees, 5,500 hotel rooms last year. They and an economic impact of over $6.5 million.
Yeah, city did good. We stole that from South Padre.
Yeah,
so that was
I'm liking it.
Yeah,
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
All right, weekend showers last weekend. Prompted more mosquito spraying for vector control.
Yeah.
Now that the winds have settled down a bit, you're going to be out starting tonight?
Yes, we'll have our crews out.
People tonight or tomorrow?
We're starting tonight, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and or maybe I think it's tonight. But you got to hit those things just right. And typically when we spray, we only get a third of them because they have to be airborne. The temperatures got to be right, and we can't start until around 7 o'clock at night. So there's all kind of particulars that we have to do that have to occur before we can get out there and spray.
Well, you have to remember the fog kills only airborne mosquitoes. So 2/3 of them are going to be
they're landed, and they have to be in flight in order for them to get hit by the fog. So we'll do the best we can to try to mitigate. But there's some things that you can do at home to take care of some of them too.
We did a Corpus Christi night out last week.
Night out.
Yeah, it was. Didn't we do a local?
No, national night out.
Yeah.
No. So we had a kickoff Saturday.
That's it. All right.
The kickoff was over on the Sears parking lot, and tonight is the actual national night out event for the state of Texas. Typically it's August 5 for the rest of the country, but it's so hot here in August that we moved ours in the state of Texas to October 7. Try to catch a little bit of the cooler evening. So
the whole affair is to encourage community partnership with police and let neighbors know how to tackle crime.
Yep.
And it's a family event and a good way to meet your neighbors and spread some awareness. National Night Out. And
you know about that. I mean, you guys did that over in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
we had a good time. I'm not sure. I haven't seen a email blast, but I'm looking forward to Cindy.
Yeah.
Sending out something.
Sure.
Besides, it's always good to have everybody's email address.
Yeah.
You never know when you need it.
That's right.
Pardon me, Lily. 560-558-9560 KKTX. News Radio 1360 KKTX. Chief Floyd Simpson in the box.
I had a phone number for that Ridealong if people want to.
Oh, yeah?
Try it.
Okay.
Yeah. 886-2685. 886-2685. If you call that number, you can schedule a ride along, and we strongly encourage you to do that because more than anything, this is your police department. I'd love for you to come out and just kind of look at how professionals do the job. I think that we've got a very good department, and I'd love to show it off.
I agree with that.
Yes.
I made some wonderful friends.
Yep.
On the in just about every department.
Yep.
It's been the last Ridealong I was talking to Congressman Farenthold about this, and it was about the ride-alongs in general, and he was talking about the K2 problem, and I said, 6 or 7 years ago. Or was it? It was Riggs was still chief of police.
Mm-hmm.
I was riding with Ed Shannon.
Yeah, our city was one of 2 in the country that was on the front of this K2 issue.
Yeah.
And the other was a county sheriff's department in Florida. And I happened to go through one of these management courses with the actual sheriff. Mm-hmm. And he and I got a chance to trade notes when I went up to the FBI school that I went to. Our ordinance that we passed helped us take out a major supplier here in town. It's the bus that, I think you heard me talking about 59 or so cars confiscated, millions of dollars, a couple of homes. Yeah.
I got some stuff from that house.
Yes. All from K2 sales.
It was at an auction.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that. Was that the big Indian or something you got? Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we were on the front of that, and K2 is it's not that it's gone away from our community, but we put a big dent in it.
Well, there was just a bus the other day.
Yes,
they found about 2,000 packages of that stuff.
Yeah, and it's some strange stuff. It's causing our young people to do things that we don't want them to do. Also, it's dangerous. It's shutting down organs. It's causing bodily failures, mm-hmm. and it's a nasty, nasty drug. And they package it so that it looks pleasant to younger people, and it winds up taking some people out.
Well, it was interesting to see that whole process work because this kid there was a small car in front of us, and he was weaving, and I thought, man. And it had just gotten dark.
Yes.
And Ed said, well, that didn't take long, did it? I said, no. Are you going to light him up? He said, yep, I have to.
Sure.
So he takes off from the red light, and Shannon hits the lights.
Yeah.
And they pull over into a deal. And I stayed in the car. Till everybody gets their stuff. You're welcome to get out unless the officer says stay in the car.
Yeah.
Then it's advisable for you to stay in the car.
Sure.
Because the stuff that comes back on that computer screen,
yes,
from the license plate alone,
yeah,
is some pretty interesting information. Especially when right down close to the bottom there's it looks like an asterisk.
Yes,
and it says. The last time he was stopped, he was armed.
Yeah, caution. Yeah. You sit in the driver's seat of one of those quad cars, you swear you're in a fighter jet cockpit. I mean, because, and we well know that these guys, we train them to drive well and pay attention and to do many things as they're driving. But they're having to type, having to read a computer. Sometimes they have to call complainants on the way, to calls and listen to the radio and. Be observant because we want them to find, traffic violators and other things. They have to multitask like you wouldn't believe.
Well, I was also on a ride along with the the jet team.
Yes.
And I'm really embarrassed because I can't remember the young lieutenant that was assigned to keep me out of trouble.
Yeah.
But we answered what's the call that comes in when they tell you to respond quickly?
Yeah, it's a code 3 call.
No lights?
Yeah, lights and sirens.
No lights, no sirens.
Yeah, no, we want you to have lights and sirens.
No, this was a response.
Yeah, so we changed that. Now, that code is now gone.
Oh, it is?
My preference is if you're going to drive contrary to traffic law, I want you to have your lights and sirens on. So.
Well. We got off the freeway,
yeah,
and he shut the lights and sirens off and navigated through the freeway neighborhood. But it was a drive-by shooting.
Yes,
they caught the guy, by the way.
Yeah, and that team you're talking about, they deal with the hardcore, crook. I try not to tie them to radio calls, although sometimes they have to because the call volume is so high. But, if I'm able to do any amount of proactive patrolling, that team generally will do that for us.
Do the ride-alongs get to they just meet like 30 minutes before you leave, right?
Yeah. So what happens is you'll show up at your appointed time. They'll let you attend.
On Sartain.
Yeah, they'll let you attend the briefing.
Right.
And then from there, in the briefing, the officers, they're generally briefed by their direct boss, the lieutenant, and he kind of tells them the order of the day. And then, there's, kind of letters from the chief and different instructional things that they're required to do. Sometimes they have to go through inspections. So you'll see them line up, and the lieutenant will check their uniforms and weapons and all of that stuff. And then they're sent out, to take care of business of the day,
It's really interesting because it's, I think most of us got used to the shift change briefings.
Yes.
What do you call those?
Briefings, yeah. Yeah.
And you talk about the people that you're looking for.
Yes.
And where they usually hang out.
Yeah.
Where they live.
Who they hang with.
Sure. And their mama's address.
You got to have that because they're going to go to mama's house.
I couldn't believe that. So, come on. The mama's address? He said, that's where we find them all.
Yeah.
If you can't find them anyplace else, they're at mama's,
that's right,
hiding under the bed.
That's right. Yeah. They do something bad and they yell for mama and they go to mama's house.
It was unbelievable.
Yep.
We went to a house that had been condemned and shut down by the city, the police department, and the health department.
Yes.
And we go in there, and you can smell the crack that has just been smoked.
Yep.
And there are 6 kids in there.
And that's
little ones.
Wow. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that breaks your heart. These kids, that people talk about, PAL, for example, we just did the $151,000.
Mm-hmm.
All of that money, every cent of it goes to, and here's a catchphrase, at-risk children who are in those type situations. And we try to grab them and, we lure them in with sports. But while they're competing and while they're enjoying the game, you've got police officers that mentor these kids. And you try to keep them from falling into traps in neighborhoods. Yeah. And these are kids directly from, the toughest parts of our city.
Yeah. And it's difficult. Here's one of the most important things in order to help somebody change is to get them away from the people that they've been hanging out with.
Yes.
And you can't.
Yes. Even if it's for a little while, expose them to other things and, try to arm them if you can't totally remove them from that environment. Try to arm them with techniques and things that will cause them to recognize potential pitfalls.
It's hard to say no.
It's a hard thing.
It is,
particularly if you live with it. This is what I know. My family does it. This is what I know, and it's tough to break away from that.
The number is 560-5589, 560-KKTS. You have a question or comment for the chief of police? We've got the next police academy class starting up.
We've got one that will start in March.
Okay.
So I've got one going now that has 24 people in it. Yeah, and they're the ones that Lillian mentioned that was helping out at the dove hunt. But they look to be a pretty good class.
I thought you had young cadets.
Yeah, these are my academy class. Guys that are in the police academy. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about Citizens Police Academy. I thought there were,
and I have one of those going now too.
Yeah.
The Citizens Police Academy. This is, I guess, this month will be their second meeting, I think. So they just started a couple months ago. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Who's is the training
Training division.
Training division still in charge of that?
Yes, and Denise Pace is doing the facilitator for that group. She now works over at City Hall, but she's helping out dealing with the Citizens Police Academy. Yeah.
Who else is?
Ed Shannon, the whole training academy group will pitch in to teach the curriculum from the pistol range to driving to penal law to all kinds of things that they. And
do you still do that shoot, don't shoot?
Yes. The simulation of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The important thing there is we just got to make sure that safety is the utmost. Yeah, you got to make sure you're safe. So
I love adrenaline.
Yes.
Give it. And it'll do that again.
Even though you know that it's simulated, it still gets you going.
Well, it does, because you want to do well, and then a couple of lights go on for you. Like, this is a bit more difficult than I thought.
It is.
And then you get a police chief like Henry Garrett that pulls you up in front of the class and says, "How come you shot that woman with a hose in her?"
What had happened was,
I told her I didn't like her hair.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a stressful deal, and that's the purpose, to put stress on you.
Well,
see how you operate.
Hooper went me one better. Hooper asked me to explain some of the things that I saw.
Right.
And it was amazing how wrong
Sure.
that I got it.
Stress will do that. Yeah.
It's Lago in the morning. News Radio 1360 KKTX. So it's National Night Out 2014.
Yep.
More than 50 parties planned. Got some parades.
Yep.
And it's going on all over the place. Everything from law enforcement demonstrations, recruitment, if you've got somebody that's interested in doing that, and
you can even
safety.
adopt a dog.
Yeah, even adopt a dog. I was listening to a really interesting discussion yesterday, and it was about child safety seats.
Yes.
And how a lot of people buy the wrong ones.
Mm-hmm.
They don't fit in their cars. They're not
age appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can learn about that at some of these national night out parties. And we actually here not long ago we had an event out on the island at the temporary substation that we had for the summer,
mm-hmm.
and we had certified people actually installing those child safety seats. So not only can you buy the wrong one, you can also put them in incorrectly. And
there are some that won't fit in certain cars.
Yeah, and they lose their effectiveness, of course, if they're not used in the right way. And so, yeah, we can help you with that.
Do you think there'll come a time when cars come with child
I think some of them
seats?
do. At least booster seats. I've seen in some of the higher kind of cost,
higher end
cars, they actually have booster seats in them.
And the rest of us just put up those stupid baby on board stickers.
Yeah,
I had a woman pass me, doing about 80.
Baby on board.
Baby on board. I thought, is that only for me? It's not for you.
Yeah. Hey, I was going to bring up something. So far this year, this is a tough number. We had 137 weapons stolen from cars, and I've only recovered 7 of those.
Ouch.
And so, while I'm friendly to weapons and all of that stuff, I'm also partial to responsible ownership.
Mm-hmm.
And people just leave weapons in their cars like you wouldn't believe, and then somebody breaks into the car, and voila.
Look what I found here.
Yeah.
This is one thing I'm not leaving.
Yeah, and on a few occasions, I've had actually, a couple of weapons inside of a single vehicle. So it's a problem. We certainly respect people's right to carry, but we want you to do that in a responsible way.
I would read a long time ago, they used to put those car break-ins in the blotter.
Yes.
And it was like people were using their vehicles as
storage locker.
Safe.
Yeah.
A safe. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Jewelry, money, identification, guns.
And it is a simple thing. I mean, people, we have a rash of, cars and accessories being stolen, and people will leave their doors unlocked, leave the cars running, actually, as they dart inside of a store. Or on one occasion, I think I told you one time, I had a guy that actually left his truck running while he was inside of Hooters. Mm-hmm. And I go and say, well, what's the deal? Well, my wife likes the air conditioner on when she comes. And this was it was a big old 4x4 diesel truck, one of them big ones that probably cost, I don't know, $60,000, $70,000. Mm-hmm. And the car's just running. And I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you're carrying in your car, by all means, please know that, if that car gets burglarized, then there's a good chance your weapons are going to be gone, and I'll be dealing with it some sort of way out on the street. But 137 so far this year.
That's why they call it a holster.
Yeah.
It's a good place for it.
Yeah.
All right. National Night Out tonight.
National Night Out.
Don't leave your guns in your vehicles.
That's right.
And the ride-along number.
Yes, the ride-along number is 886-2685. We want to invite you to come out. You have to go through a little light-running background check. Want to make sure that ride-alongs aren't felons, because they're going to be around some pretty sensitive information. So come on out. This is your department. See how we work.
I appreciate it, Chief. Thank you for the time. My best to your staff. And you guys, let's be careful out there.
Yes.
And have yourself a Bluebell Country Day.